What is up, everybody? It is Drew Traveler bringing this here, and I'm going to be showing you a video for Ritual Beasts because we just got support for this deck, and I've been playing this deck since it came out back in 2015 during Secret Forces. Super fun deck, extremely fun to play. Very difficult to play too, I should add that. If you enjoy combo decks and things that require you to put in a lot of thinking, this is definitely the deck for you because it is not an easy deck to pilot, but when you do learn how to pilot it properly, it's extremely rewarding and a lot of fun. So I'm going to go ahead and jump on in and show you guys the deck profile. Starting off with the main deck, we'll go with our Spiritual Beast here. We have 3 Conahawk, which is kind of like a Gold Sark for the deck, except you don't ever end up really adding the stuff back. You kind of use it for your combos once it's gone. So pretty good card though. It's 1 card starter now. Also 1 card starter is your 3 copies of Rampengu. Before this deck, you had to open up like 2 card combos to really get going, but now you can open 1 and it actually plays, which is pretty awesome. Obviously, there are 2 card combos that go well along with the rest of it, but you can at least do 1 card combos now, which is nice. Then 1 Apelio. I don't play Dolphin, just the 1 Apelio here. So we have 7 of those names, as you can see. 3 of our Conahawk, 3 Rampengu, and 1 Apelio. Up next, though, we have 3 copies of New Lara. This card is really good. It helps you avoid destruction, it helps you extend, it helps you do pretty much everything you could possibly want. Like, this is like one of the best support pieces for a deck that I've seen in a really long time. I don't have much else to say other than the fact that the card is crazy good. Up next, our classic 3 Elder. I mean, you gotta play 3 of this. Like, there's no world where you don't. Opening this in Conahawk is even crazier now than it was almost 10 years ago, 9 years ago now. So yeah, card's really good. Extra normal summon is always crazy. Then the 1-ofs, we do 1 Old Lara, 1 Wen, 1 Pilica, and then 1 of the Winda. I think that 1 of each of these is probably correct and the way to go. And I feel like a lot of times that, like, I've seen some lists not play this. I feel like some lists are like playing these 3, but I think that playing this is just really good. I think that's significantly better than playing Dolphin, that's for sure. So if you're going to be playing, you know, another name, I think this is the way to go. It's just really good. But those are all of the Ritual Beast monster cards and the Spiritual Beast Tamer cards. Up next, we have 1 Nemesis Flag and 1 Nemesis Corridor. This is really good. You know, it basically just says that you get to summon Thunder Dragon Colossus, which, you know, making it so your opponent can't search is phenomenal. So I think that these are pretty solid cards. Then moving on to the spell cards now that we have. I have currently 3 Inheritance. I might drop it to 2 and play 1 Bond. I just have to find my copy of Bond. I know I have some from years and years ago. I just don't know where they are. So if you would like to drop 1 of these and play 1 Bond, by all means, go for it. Like I said, I might end up testing it soon, but currently I'm just running with, you know, 3 Inheritance until I find that 1 copy. Digging through all my cards is a lot more difficult than you would think. So yeah, for now I just have it that way until I find the card I'm looking for. Then 3 copies of E-Telly. I've seen some people say that this card is not good in the deck. This card is crazy in the deck. It extends so much further, and like getting another name on board is crazy. If you like open up, like, let's say you don't open up super well, you like draw a Pelio and you don't really have any other like psychics in hand or whatever, you can just drop your Lara on the board with this and then you can just start playing the game, which is phenomenal. So yeah, I think that E-Telly is just, it's such a good extender. There's nothing else to really say about it. You should definitely be playing this card, like, realistically. Then I play 2 Pot. I think that 2 of this is fine. Usually you only want to resolve it once. yeah, I don't have much else to say. Like, resolving it once is more than good enough. There's an argument to be made that you could cut it too, and just like not play it at all, and instead you could play, honestly, you could play a Gold Sark, because if you Gold Sark for Lara can summon Kanahawk, and then you can kind of start to play from there. So there's an argument that could be made to where you could technically cut these if you don't want to play them, and just play other stuff. I wouldn't be against that. You could cut it, you could cut both, and you could play the one Gold Sark, and then you could play like a Talents or something. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of options that you could run with. Then the last big important card is our Steeds. I wanted to play 2 of this, but there's not really any room, so we are currently rolling with the 1. If you don't want to play Bond and you still want to cut a Inheritance out, one Inheritance, you can cut 1 Inheritance out and play second Steed if you wanted to. I just think that this card is like too good not to be playing multiples of, but for right now I have it at 1 until I kind of experiment a little bit more. Hand traps though, of course, 3 shifter, because this deck does not care about banishing stuff. It thrives off of it, so 3 shifter is definitely the move. Also 3 Ash and 3 Imperm, because they're very generic and do stuff, and they don't have to worry about shifter kind of contradicting with them. So yeah, playing those 9 is, in my opinion, probably the best route with this deck. I think it works out phenomenally well. And then lastly, I'm playing 3 Book of Eclipse. This deck can definitely be hurt by Nibiru, so playing the Eclipse definitely helps you play around that. Like, there's a lot more to it too than just the Nibiru. If your opponent, like if you're playing Snake Eyes and they want to try and use like an IP effect, and they have like IP and like, let's say a Snake Eye Ash and a Snake Eye Oak or a Poplar, whatever 2 they have, and then they have like an Apollousa on board, and they try to activate IP. You know they're probably going to use like the Poplar and the Ash or something like that. So you chain the Eclipse, you can set their 2, and then they have to use the IP and the Apollousa at that point to do their link summon. So now that Apollousa is gone, which can definitely be like game changing. Like that can just make it so, okay, now they lose their monster negates that they had set up, and now what do? They make an SP Little Knight, and that's about it. Like that's actually pretty nuts. So yeah, 3 Eclipse I think is really good for a multitude of reasons. It's good against other decks too, you know. I mean, there's plenty of decks that you can flip this against and they're just gonna struggle. So I don't see a reason not to play this, especially when it helps your deck. Not only does it help you play around Nib, but it also helps with like Valor and Imperm, because you can just contact fuse with your face down Ritual Beast stuff. So like your effect still resolves if you activate it and they chain to it, and then you can contact fuse after that. So Eclipse is actually the absolute nuts in this deck. Really good card. But that's the main deck. I'm gonna go ahead and hop on over to the extra deck now, if I don't throw it across my table, so we can take a look at everything we get to special summon. All right, so extra deck time. We are playing 2 copies of Ulti Kanahawk. I think 2 is perfectly fine. I don't really have space for 3 anyways, so rolling with 2 is the route that we're gonna stick to for now. Card's really good. You just basically loop your searches, which is fantastic. So yeah, looping searches is actually pretty nuts. Just being able to go over and over again, grab all your stuff, and then just end on a board that your opponent probably can't play through. Like that's actually crazy. Then 2 of the new card, don't even ask me to try and pronounce the name of it, because I honestly don't think I could pronounce the name of it, even if I wanted to. It's just one of those names where I would probably call it like Nakadrago or Naku Drago, or Nachu Drago. Nacho Dragon, that's what we'll call it. This is Nacho Dragon. But anyways, this card's really good. Makes so your Ritual Beast can't be targeted, which is crazy. And you can make this by banishing Ritual Beast cards from your graveyard too, which is also really nuts. And then you can, it does have the tag out effect, but it only like does tag out for 1 card, which is a little a little different, but it's something. I mean, it's better than nothing. So card's really, really good overall, though. Definitely have to play 2 of it. Then I play 1 Apelio and 1 Ulti-Gaia Apelio. This is like pretty solid. You don't make these super often. A lot of times I feel like you banish them for Rampengu, and like when you banish them off of the Rampengu, you're just trying to extend further with your combos. I think they're worth playing for sure. They're just not, they're not actually made as much as they are used for like other card effects, but still really good cards regardless. Then the last fusion we play is the Colossus, because the Nemesis package, I don't think I have to go far into detail for that. Then we play 1, I'm sorry that the name kind of just disappears when I lay it flat like that. 1 Infernal Flame Banshee. This searches your Nemesis flag, so you can, you know, do your combos. Card's really, really good. I think that it's definitely worth playing if you want to make Colossus. There is definitely a world where you could cut both of these and play other cards instead, but for me, I'm going with this route because I think it's phenomenal. You can also play Protos if you want to, which is kind of neat. I don't personally think it's worth it in my list, but there's definitely an argument to be made that it does work. I just personally am not playing it. But moving on to the links, I have 1 IP and 1 SP. These cards are just kind of really good. We all know how good they are, so playing them, in my opinion, is fully worth it because they just kind of make everyone's deck better. Then 1 Apollousa as well. I think that's kind of obvious that this card also makes decks better. I'm kind of thinking, and this is completely off topic, of Ritual Beast. I think the next ban list you may see both of these cards in a certain section. Fingers crossed. I love both of the cards, but I think it's time they go. But anyways, moving on to the Ritual Beast Link monsters. We play 2 Kamui Falcos. This card is an additional normal summon, which is crazy. Does a lot with your combos. So, like, the card's just really, really good. I don't have too much else to say. I mean, it's absolutely bonkers the things that this card can do. So playing this is definitely worth it at 2, I think, because there are some times where you will banish this for your Rampengu effect too. So, you know, just be cognizant of the fact that this may also be something that you want to banish instead of like banishing the Ulti-Gaia Apelio for a psychic name. And then lastly, play 2 of the Raotari, or Raotari. Once again, they really went ham on these new names. I'm usually really good at pronouncing card names too, but this, until I see some other people pronounce it, I'm probably going to avoid saying the name of the card because it's just something that is a little too difficult for me to try and figure out where Konami was going with these pronunciations. I just genuinely am struggling for some reason with them. But anyways, that's besides the point. This card's crazy. It's a Link 4. I mean, neither player can tribute cards to activate a card or effect. That alone is crazy. Like, your opponent can't activate enemy controller to tribute anything. I mean, there's a lot of other effects. They can't activate Drytron effects. Like, that's, you know, there's so many different decks that this hurts and cards that this hurts. You know, anything that tributes for cost, you can't do it. So this card's really, really good. But it also has a really cool effect where you can target one of your banished Ritual Beast cards, return it to your hand or extra deck, and then immediately after it resolves, normal summon a Ritual Beast monster from your hand. So it helps you extend too, which is amazing. But also, and just to add even more to it, because there are 3 amazing effects with this card, during your opponent's turn, you can target a Ritual Beast card you control and one card they control and banish them. Like, that's absolutely nuts. You just get to banish their stuff for free, like literally for free. And because you're like, it's free because you don't care if you banish your Ritual Beast stuff, you're just gonna bring it right back. Like, what does it matter? So this card is just super, super strong. I think this card is great. I don't have much else to say about it. I think that the support for this deck was just absolutely wild. Really, really good. But that's the extra deck. We're gonna go on over to the side deck to kind of see like our post game 1 plan. All right, so starting off, of course, the hand traps, just 3 nib. I'm not siding any other hand traps than the 3 nib. Anything that's gonna combo a lot, side it in and pray that it works out for you. That's pretty much what nib is there for. Then 3 Dimensional Fissure. I remember back in the day when this deck first came out, Dimensional Fissure was at 1 at that point. Some people main decked it, some people side decked it. Macro Cosmos was also at 1, so that was like main and sided too. This card just put in so much work back then, and now with so many decks being extremely graveyard reliant, I think it's also still worth side decking at the minimum for when you know you're going first. You know, that way it's almost like you're playing 6 D shifters, which is crazy. And if shifter does get banned, then it's like, okay, cool, now we still have Dimensional Fissure at the minimum, which is, you know, really, really nice. Yeah, just one of my favorite continuous spells ever. Like, this card's just super, super fun. You gotta love it. Then the other spells, 2 Lightning Storm and 1 Duster for back row removal. I feel like that goes kind of without saying. These cards are pretty darn good, to be honest with you. I think that they put in a significant amount of work, and they can help clear a lot of boards out, which is very important. Then I'm also side decking 3 Evenlies. I think that having more removal is really good. It's also worth noting that the Evenlies and the Lightning Storms, not only are they good against back row decks, but they are good against some combo decks too, because there's not as much spell negation. So if your opponent ends on a bunch of Link monsters and you drop a Lightning Storm, that very well could kind of end their game in some cases. So it's not guaranteed, obviously, but you know, it can definitely put a hurt on them. But then, like, you know, the Evenlies are good against everything, and the fact that they banish rather than destroy, and banish face down at that, is absolutely incredible. So I think that the Evenly is also a really good card. And then lastly, for when we're going first too, 3 copies of Barrier. Yeah, I mean, flip it against Tenpai, no synchro monsters. That seems pretty good. You know, voiceless, you stop them from summoning ritual monsters, which is also pretty good. I mean, there's a bunch of decks that you could talk about. I mean, even in the mirror, you could call fusion, and then what do? Like, they can't really play that much without being able to fusion. So yeah, Barrier is actually the nuts. Card is really, really good. Branded call fusion, once again, they can't play. So this card's just really, really good. It's going to steal a lot of games for you. You know, the fact that some people are like, oh, a card needs to be banned, like, I get where they're coming from, but I don't know. I think that it kind of puts other decks in check that need to be put into check, and makes people either be okay with losing to a card like this because they're playing a strategy where, you know, it's really only one type of extra deck card being summoned, or it makes people want to play decks that play multiple summoning conditions, like, you know, a mix of Links and Fusions, or, you know, XYZ's and Fusions, whatever the case may be. So yeah, D-Barrier is a really, really good card. But that is the entirety of the deck profile. Hopefully all of you enjoyed it. Like I said, I love this deck. I've been playing this deck for the entirety of it existing. It's very, very fun, very complex. I'm still kind of going through the combos to perfect them. I can do a video at some point in the future of more of the combos and how they work. That way everyone can kind of see how the deck runs, because I feel like that's important too, is being able to kind of sit there and say, okay, like, I showed you guys the deck that I'm playing, let me show you the combos. I have a good chunk of the combos down, but I do want to get some of them down a little bit better, and I want to be able to showcase as much as I can to kind of like go in depth with this deck and sound a lot more well-versed than just like giving you guys a basic overlook. I'd rather go more in-depth with stuff, specifically combos, because the deck profile itself, you know, you guys can pause the video, read the cards. I just give a brief explanation of what the cards do, and why I'm playing them, or things that I would substitute for them. But if you'd like to see a combo video, make sure you give the video a thumbs up so I can deliver on that, and I will obviously do my best to get that out as quickly as possible. But if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload more cool and awesome content like the video you just watched. And for right now, this is Drew, Traveler of the Burning Abyss, signing out.